What's up, everybody? Doc Dog 1985. There's levels to this. All right, check this out, man. I don't want anybody to get this confused or get this twisted, all right? There's things about Microsoft and Xbox that I have no problem calling out because I'm not a loyalist to anything. However, as the title states, the Xbox is still the better console as of right now. Hands down, it is still the better console. And the way I'm viewing it is as far as value, total value, that's what I'm viewing it as. Yes, Game Pass comes with it. Game Pass on the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S is better than Game Pass on anywhere else. It's better than Game Pass on PC. How do I know? I actually have it. If you don't have it, if you don't have both, don't speak. Just sit down and be quiet. I'm sick and tired of you guys downgrading the fact that Xbox is a tremendous value this generation. And here's the problem. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. The fact, listen, you guys say out of your own mouths, Xbox has no games. Xbox has no games. Let's take that narrative. Xbox has no games, and it's still in the conversation with you. It's still in the conversation. Xbox has no games, and you still can't find the Xbox Series X. Xbox has no games, and it's still in the conversation with Sony. Xbox has no game, and a game like Recore is being talked with Returnal, even if it's trolling. That's sad. What's going to happen when Xbox does start releasing games? You guys are going to be done. And you're trying to downplay FPS boost. You're trying to downplay FPS boost. And all I'm going to tell you is from a place of love. That's because you're ignorant. You're ignorant. You haven't experienced 120 frames, because anyone that has experienced a game at 120 frames, especially a multiplayer game, which we know the Xbox has more multiplayer games than PS5 does, right? This is not cap, all right? Once you experience 120 frames, you won't talk trash about it. Once you experience the game at 60 versus 30, you won't talk trash about it. Now, I know what you're going to say. They're old games. Old games really don't matter if you've never played it. Just because it's an old game, it doesn't really matter. If it's a game you've already played, yes, I 100% understand. So with all the 97 games, there's 97 games now that have FPS boost. If all 97 games that you see on there, you've already played, and you don't want to go back and play them, then sure, FPS boost means nothing to you. But here's the problem. They're not going to stop with just these 97 games. It's going to keep going. Microsoft, the Xbox Series X, is finally showing a glimpse as to why it's the more powerful console. I give you that. Out the gate, it should have been beating Sony, and it wasn't. I will give you that. I've admitted it plenty of times on camera. But we're not going to act like they're not showing what they're doing right now. Returnal looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. If I get a PS5, that's probably one of the games I'll pick up. I'm not going to lie. The fact that it's a roguelike shooter type game, I don't know how I feel about that. It's not my style, but I'll probably still pick it up, right? But it is running at 1080p 60, which is the same thing The Last of Us ran on the PS4. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. Now, if you got a game running at 1080p, like Xbox Series X has some games running at 1080p, especially with this FPS boost, but they're running at 120 frames, that's a huge difference. That's power. Listen to me. Listen to me. Right now, the Xbox Series X is still the better value. All you got to do is talk to people that have both consoles. As a matter of fact, in the comment section, don't cap, be honest. If you have both systems, you got a PS5 and you have either an Xbox Series X or an Xbox Series S. Be honest, which one do you actually play more? Once you were done playing Miles Morales, once you were done playing Demon's Souls, once you're done playing Returnal, you're going to plan on Returnal? You probably have to if you only got a PS5. I'm not talking to people that only have a PS5. If you have both systems, what system are you playing more? The reason I'm telling you this is because I talk to people that have both systems that aren't afraid to not have to cap, and they are honest. They play on their Xbox Series X or S way more than they do on their PS5. I've talked to people that have 3 platforms. They have the PC, the Xbox, and the PS5. And they still, the system that gets played the less is the PS5. Right now, the PS5 is not the better value. It is not. If you're gonna use sales, all sales is about right now is the marketing hype and the fact that it's hard to get. But if you bought a PS5, you have to be a very unique type of player right now. A very unique type of player. Number one, you gotta be willing to spend money. And I saw people talking about how gaming is an expensive hobby. If you want it to be expensive, Microsoft is allowing you not to be expensive. Man, Stadia is allowing you not for it to be expensive. Stadia, you don't even have to buy a console. You don't even have to buy a console. You literally just buy a $160 freaking dongle or just use your web browser and you pay for whatever game you want. Do you understand that Stadia players that are playing Outriders only paid for Outriders? Do you understand that? Like that's insane. Like they could have only spent money on Outriders and that's it. So when it comes to value, when it comes to games, and games are expensive, it's as expensive as you want it to be. You could be a car enthusiast with a cheap car if you want and still enjoy it as much as a person that spends $500 million on vehicles. It's up to you how much you want to spend. But to justify that a game should be $70 or to justify because the hobby should be expensive, you sound ignorant, because that means that poor people or people that don't have money or people that are less fortunate than you, the way I grew up, you know what I would have done to you if you would have told me I couldn't play video games because I grew up in a less fortunate situation because my father walked out? And now I'm looking at you straight at the camera. You know how I would feel? But you know what? God has blessed me. Now I'm in a situation where I could literally go buy whatever I want as far as video games go. I am truly blessed, not talking trash, humbled. I am blessed. God has put me in a good situation. All right. I got an Xbox Series X. I got a PC. I got 2 hands, got 4 controllers for no reason, just because I can. I got an NVIDIA Shield just because I can. And if I wanted to pay for a PS5 from scalpers, if I wanted to, I could get me a PS5. But right now, there's no need to get me a PS5. So for you to say that it's okay for this hobby to be expensive and it's okay for them to pay $70, oh my God, I don't get it. I don't understand. $15 a month, plethora of games for me to play. More games are going to be coming, and they're making those games that I'm already able to play more enjoyable. It is the better console. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk trash when they're not promoting games, because they're not promoting games. They're promoting controllers, which is the dumbest thing in the world. If you go on Xbox's Twitter page right now, it's like the last 3 posts are like controller based, which is ridiculous. It's almost like they're trolling me. Which is ridiculous. But stop with the lies. I've been on 3 podcasts the last few days. Chill Gaming's podcast, I appreciate you, my dude. Shout out to you. I've been on Next Gen's podcast. I appreciate you, my dude. Thank you. And then I was on Isomotion Gaming's podcast, well, the Wood Warrior podcast, which we all co-host together. All right. And I see it in the comments section. I heard it on the podcast. Chill Gaming's podcast was probably the one that was the most like level-headed, and we were able to talk back and forth, whatever, and it was cool, right? But people were really capping for being able to feel raindrops on a controller. You could feel that it's raining, and people were applauding that in the comment section. Like it's ridiculous. And then here's the thing: there's wars on Twitter's going on, right? I'm just tired of this stuff, right? Wars on Twitter's going on. People talking about what's gonna sell more, Halo or Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? You know exactly why you're asking that question. If something's on Game Pass, it doesn't have to sell well. So I'm going to tell you, right? Because there's a lot of Xbots that are afraid to admit it, okay? I don't know if Halo's going to sell well, but I don't anticipate it selling well because there's a lot of people that have Game Pass that are going to play it on Game Pass. Why would you buy it if you can play it for free? Now, there's some people that buy it as well, but if you can play it not for free, it is for free. Because remember, I paid $180 a year for Outriders. Remember that. That's the only game that I bought that I'm paying for. Or MLB The Show, whichever one you pick. All the other games are free. Your whole freaking mentality that you're paying $180 for one game. No, we're not. Oh my God. You Sony ponies logic makes no sense. But here's the thing. Sales is not going to be the metric for what is deemed a successful game next generation. And guess what? Whether you like it or not, Microsoft was smart in doing that because this is what happened. I'll admit it. Microsoft was getting their asses whooped when it came to sales as far as the PS5 or PS4 goes, right? When all those games, right? So they were getting whooped so much that they didn't even want to release their numbers anymore. But you know what they did? They did what a true G does. If you can't win at the game, you change the game. You can't be mad at it. They changed the rules of video games. They literally changed the rules of video games. So now, even though there's no games, they're still in a conversation. That's sad. You see it as a threat. You know what you don't see as a threat? Which I don't know why you don't. But you know what you don't see as a threat? Nobody sees Google Stadia as a real threat. Sony doesn't really see Google. I don't see no Sony ponies talking trash about Google Stadia because you really don't see it as a threat. You talk about Xbox because you really see it as a threat. And all you got to do is go out and buy one. Microsoft literally wants you to be able to coexist with your PS5 and your saddles for your pony back. They want you to coexist. They made a system specifically for the ponies. That's the Series S. That's literally the Series S. Like, yo, hey dog, listen, you get yourself a PS5. You can play all the PS5 exclusive, all the bangers, all the walking simulators that are Game of the Year contenders and Game of the Year winners. You get yourself your PS5. But check this out. When you want to go ahead and play a plethora of games that you haven't played before, yo, get yourself a little Xbox Series S and you could go ahead and play it there. If you want to be funny and say that you could play it on the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S, go ahead and do that. But you're missing out on features like quick resume, downloading stuff faster, just the ease of use of the system. The system's just faster overall, it's just better. But go ahead, you could do that as well. Microsoft is okay letting the Xbox coexist with the PS5. That's all you got to do. And if you did that, you would truly see that Microsoft is not even competing with Sony. They've said it out of their mouths. They're not competing with Sony. They're competing with Amazon and Google. And if they figure out this cloud stuff, they're gonna win. And I know a lot of you always talk about how, Doc, cloud gaming this, cloud gaming that. Nobody wants to play video games on their phone. You don't want to play video games on your phone. You don't. I prefer, no cap, to play video games on my TV or play video games on my PC. But you know what I just bought? I just bought a Surface Pro 7, okay? And when I was thinking about making this decision, I want a really portable laptop because I got a gaming laptop. It's portable, but it's not portable like where I can take it to work and put it on meetings and stuff like that, right? But when I got my Surface Pro 7, I realized like, yo, because of cloud gaming like Stadia, because of cloud gaming like GeForce Now, and because of cloud gaming like the xCloud, I'm gonna be able to game regardless of how powerful the hardware is. So when I'm making the decision to purchase something, whether it's a phone or a laptop, I don't need to worry about what's the most powerful specs if I'm thinking about gaming because cloud will be there. The cloud will be there. And what company do you think is gonna be able to sustain their cloud service financially the most? Microsoft. Oh, they're going to figure it out. So then you're going to have a situation where the Microsoft ecosystem tied into the Xbox Series X is all inclusive. And literally all it's going to be is Microsoft. Yo, the Xbox Series X, as far as system goes right now, is the better console. There's nothing you can tell me that's going to be different. I don't care about a microphone on a controller, gimmick. I don't care about being able to feel raindrops, gimmick. I don't care. The games, when I look at the PS5, there's only 2 games that entice me and one lost a little bit of it. This is for me. Miles Morales, and Returnal, kind of, because I don't know if I'm going to like the roguelike game. And then once you're done with Miles Morales and once you're done with Returnal, again, I'm talking about me, I don't platinum games. Like, that's not my thing. I don't consider myself a bigger gamer because I go back and reach more achievements. That's not what I do. I don't even really play DLCs. I'm going through the main storyline. Let's see what happens. Boom. Okay, it caught me. Perfect. That's just the type of gamer I am. So for me, the PS5 right now, I don't see it. Just because I call off Microsoft on their stuff, don't get it twisted. It's still the better console. It's still the better value. It's not even close. Dark 1985, yo, there's levels to this. We out. Peace.